The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with excitement. Leaders from every part of the galaxy had gathered for a special meeting. On the glowing central screen floated a message from Earth's government. It was short and polite, but its meaning left the council puzzled. Earth has received your request. Our apex predator will arrive shortly. The council members looked at one another in silence. Apex predator? It asked Earth to send its strongest life form? Something? To study something. To understand. Most species had apex predators, massive beasts with teeth, claws, or venom. They thought Earth would send a large creature, maybe a mutated beast from its wild jungles. Instead, they were sending a human. An elder from the reptilian Drax species leaned over the table and hissed, "Humans are fragile. Surely this is a joke." "Perhaps they misunderstood our message," said a Silvax, her metallic skin shimmering. The Speaker of the Council, a wise being from the mist-like HFY species, raised a hand. "We will see. The human ship will arrive soon. Let us not assume too quickly." On the other side of the galaxy, inside a quiet human cruiser named Nova Gray, Alina stood still in the center of the command room. She wore no armor, no weapon, just a black coat and soft boots. Her hair was tied back. Her eyes, calm and steady, looked at the screen in front of her. The Galactic Council awaited her arrival. The ship's pilot glanced back nervously. "Are you sure you want to go alone?" Alina nodded. "This is a meeting, not a fight." "But they asked for the apex predator." "I know," she said. Softly. "That's why they're getting me." The ship entered the council's station, passing many guards and alien cruisers. Every camera turned toward it. Lena stepped out alone, walking down the long, glowing path, the aliens watching. Her frowned, confused. "That's the apex predator? She's small. She doesn't even look dangerous." Lena didn't speak. She walked with purpose, her hands by her sides, her heartbeat steady, her expression calm. When she entered the council's main chamber, the voices around her turned into laughter. A bulky Zarnik warrior rose from his seat. "Where is your beast, human? Where is your clawed monster?" Alina looked at him, then at the Speaker of the Council. "You asked for our apex predator. I'm here." Another voice shouted from the side. "You mean you're just a soldier? Not even your leader?" Alina shook her head. "I'm not a politician. I'm not here to make speeches." The room fell quiet. "Then what are you?" asked the HFY speaker. "I'm the one who ends wars." The Zarnik warrior slammed his fist on the table. "I don't believe this. Small human claims to be the apex predator of a death world." He turned to his guards. "Prepare the testing room. Let's see what she really is." But Alina didn't react. She only raised her hand. A tiny movement. Just one signal, and then everything changed. Outside the station, alarms screamed. Alien. Cruisers received a sudden lock and warning. Their targeting systems showed hundreds of red markers. Defense drones powered up. Station's energy shields adjusted. Panic filled the air. "What is happening?" Council guard shouted. "Who's attacking?" The human ship, Nova Gray, sat still. But its defense systems had activated all of them, pointing at the station, locked and ready. Alina lowered her hand, and just like that, the signal stopped. Silence returned. "I told it not to fire," she said. Many council members turned pale. The Zarnik warrior took a step back. Even the metallic Silvax looked uneasy now. Alina looked at the Speaker of the Council. "Earth does not fight unless pushed, but when we do, we don't stop halfway." The HFY speaker leaned forward slowly. "We asked to meet your kind strongest. Your message said you were coming, but we didn't expect ... this." "Most predators roar," Alina said. "Humans don't need to. We act." For the first time, no one laughed. After the meeting ended, council members spoke in quiet tones. The ones who had mocked now whispered in fear. A young scholar from the bird-like Zalari approached Alina carefully. "May I ask something?" he said. She nodded. "You don't look like a beast, but you made them afraid. What are you really?" Alina looked at him, her eyes soft. "I'm a guardian, a protector. But if needed, I can be something else." The scholar blinked. "Then why did you come alone?" Because one is enough, she answered. As Alina returned to her ship, the halls remained quiet behind her. The council didn't laugh anymore. The predator they had asked for was not what they expected. She didn't growl, she didn't fight, she just raised her hand, and their blood froze. After Alina returned to her ship, silence still hung heavy over the council hall. Most of the leaders had left the chamber with stiff steps and confused minds. Others stayed behind, speaking quietly among themselves, their voices filled with unease. "How did she do that?" asked a tall, blue-skinned alien with glowing eyes. "She just moved her hand," another whispered, "and our systems thought we were under full attack." The HFY speaker remained seated, eyes lost in thought. He had seen many wars, many threats, but never had he felt so cold inside. Alina had shown no anger, no loud threat, just control, perfect, calm control. A few council members, especially the younger ones, still believed it had to be a trick. The Zarnik warrior, who had first laughed at her, paced around the room. "This cannot be real," he growled. "That human must have hacked our systems. There's no way one small human could cause so much fear without touching a weapon." He turned to the speaker. "Let me test her. Let me challenge her." The HFY speaker shook his head slowly. "She warned us without hurting anyone. Do you really want to push her further?" But the Zarnik warrior didn't listen. Psst. Message to the human ship, inviting Alina to a formal exchange of strength. It was a polite way of saying, "Prove you are not a fake." On board the Nova Grey, the message came through. The pilot looked nervous. They want a demonstration, a physical one this time. Alina didn't look surprised. "They still don't understand," she said. "Should I send a refusal?" She shook her head. "No, I'll go." The arena sat deep inside the council's great station. It was a neutral place where warriors from different species trained or solved disputes. A crowd had already gathered. Many came to see if the human would fight. Some still believed she was just a clever trick. Others were afraid of what they might witness. Alina walked into the arena alone, same as before. No armor, no weapons, just her coat and boots. Across from her stood 5 warriors. The Zarnik challenger had not sent one fighter, he sent 5, a mix of species known for their strength, speed, and aggression. The announcer's voice echoed through the air. "This is a friendly test. No serious harm will be done. The match will end when one side yields or is disarmed." Alina didn't say a word. She stood calmly, eyes watching the warriors in front of her. The first attacker, a quick-moving insectoid, lunged toward her. He tried to grab her arm. She stepped sideways, spun behind him, and touched his neck gently. He collapsed, unconscious. The second one, a beast with 4 arms, roared and charged. She ducked low, swept his feet from under him, and stepped back. He crashed down hard and did not rise. The third and fourth came at the same time. One from the front, one from behind. Alina moved like she was dancing. She leaned forward, grabbed the front attacker's arm, and flipped him into the second. Both fell together. The last fighter hesitated. His legs shook. Alina looked at him and said softly, "You don't have to fall. Just step out." The fighter dropped his weapon and left the arena. Silence fell again. It wasn't the kind of silence filled with shock. This time, it was filled with understanding. Alina hadn't harmed them. Not really. Every move she made was precise, fast, perfect, and not one blow was cruel. She wasn't just strong. She had complete control. The Zarnik warrior who had called for this challenge looked pale now. He had seen many fights in his life. This wasn't a fight. It was a message. Later in the council meeting chamber, a new voice spoke. It came from an old creature from the dust worlds, a race that rarely joined such meetings. "I once heard stories," he said slowly, "about a human who walked into a battlefield, unarmed, and made both sides lay down their weapons. I thought those were just tales," someone whispered. "They were about her." The old creature replied. The council looked at one another, unsure of what to believe anymore. In the shadows, a small alien scholar from the Zalari species watched. Recordings of Alina. He was the same one who had spoken to her after the meeting. His name was Talon, and he wasn't a warrior. Wasn't loud or important, but he saw something others didn't. He watched how she moved, how she waited, how she didn't rush. She doesn't fight because she enjoys it, he said to himself. She fights because it ends things quickly. He made a note in his book. Earth's predator does not chase or roar. She waits, watches, and acts when needed. That night, the stars moved around the station. Many council members lay awake in their rooms. They didn't speak of war or politics. They thought of the human girl with calm eyes. She didn't shout. She didn't show off. She just raised her hand. And the galaxy paused. The next day, the galactic station remained quiet. Not the kind of quiet from rest, but the quiet that comes when minds are heavy with questions. The council chambers were still. Only soft footsteps echoed in the long halls. Some species had returned to their ships, unsure how to feel after seeing what the human girl could do. Others stayed, trying to learn more. They didn't want to admit it out loud, but something about Alina had shaken them deeply. She wasn't a monster. She wasn't loud or wild. But the power she carried without showing it, that was what disturbed them most. Tale. The young alien scholar from Zalari moved quickly through the data archives. His feathers fluffed with excitement as he scrolled through old galactic reports. He was curious about Earth, yes, but more curious about Alina. He tapped through restricted files and council warnings. Then, buried under forgotten logs, he found something. A video grainy footage from a distant war 10 cycles ago. In it, a small group of human soldiers moved through a city under attack. Missiles rained down, buildings burned. But in the center of it all, one woman walked forward alone without cover. Her name tag read Alina B. Hawthorne Jaw. She faced a machine army 3 times the human size. The enemy fired first. She didn't flinch. With quick, smooth motions, she called in a counterstrike, dodged enemy shots, took down 20 units with just her hands and one short blade. But what made the footage special was what happened. Next, civilians, alien and human, were trapped behind fire and falling debris. The soldiers couldn't reach them. Alina ran through the flames, lifted broken beams, and carried survivors one by one without stopping. Not one civilian died that day. Not one. Talon leaned back from the screen, eyes wide. They call her a predator, he whispered, but she saved more lives than she ended. He quickly saved the file to his device. Across the station, in a quiet corner of the medical wing, a Silvax healer named Nera was reviewing old health records. By chance, she found an old report from her own people. A wounded Silvax officer had once been pulled from a burning ship, rescued by a lone human woman while everyone else ran. The report said the human carried him for miles through enemy territory with no help. When asked why she did it, the human only said, because no one else would. Nera checked the name again, Alina Hawthorne. She sat back in her seat, remembering how the officer had cried when telling the story. She could have left me, he had said. But she didn't. She's not like the others. She's something different. Meanwhile, in a private meeting room, several council leaders discussed what to do next. Earth cannot be allowed to hide people like this from us, said one. They didn't hide her, replied another. We asked to meet their apex predator, and they sent her. She's too dangerous. Or maybe she's just more advanced in ways we don't understand. What should we do? The Zarnik warrior asked, voice uneasy now. We challenged her, and she beat us without harming anyone. We watch, said the Fea speaker. We learn, but we do not provoke. Lena, unaware of the new whispers about her, stood on the top deck of her ship, looking out at the stars. She breathed in the quiet. She never asked for attention. She didn't like being feared. But this was the role Earth gave her, to stand tall when others doubted. To show what humans could truly be, the pilot stepped up beside her. They're all talking about you, I figured. Some think you're not even human. Alina gave a small smile. I get that a lot. They're searching old files, learning about what you did in the border wars. That was a long time ago, not long enough to forget, he said softly. Why didn't you tell the council about it yourself? Alina looked at the stars again. I don't tell stories to impress. If they want to understand, they'll have to dig. And dig they did. Within hours, stories about Alina spread across the station. Footage of her past missions, records of her work in War and Peace, quiet interviews with those she had saved. None of it was loud or dramatic, just quiet proof of who she was. A protector, a fighter, a woman, who walked into danger not because she enjoyed it, but because someone had to in. The dining halls, soldiers from different species whispered tales about her. In training rooms, young fighters tried to copy her movements. In classrooms, students debated whether Earth had more people like her. And in every corner of the station, one truth became clear. She was not a monster. She was not a hero in shining light. She was something in between, and that made her even more powerful. Later that night, Holland stood in front of Elena's ship, holding his datapad. When she stepped out, he bowed respectfully. "You found something?" she asked. "Yes," he said, lifting the pad. "The stories, your records, your missions. I just wanted to say thank you." Elena blinked, surprised. "For what?" "Being more than they expected." She gave a small nod. "That's what humans do best." And in the silent halls of the galactic station, the word predator no longer meant beast or killer. It meant something else now. Someone who waits. Someone who watches. Someone who moves only when it's time, and when she does. The galaxy listens. After 2 days of silence, the Galactic Council decided to meet again. The hall was not filled with laughter or loud arguments this time. Instead, there was tension in the air, like the calm before a storm. Everyone had seen the footage. Everyone now knew the name Alina Hawthorne. And still, some wanted more proof. "We can't just believe stories." One council member said, "You saw her fight," another replied. "She didn't fight," the Zarnik warrior growled. "She danced. She moved like water. But we haven't seen her limits." The FIA speaker, wise and old, spoke at last. "Then we will not ask for violence. We'll ask for something harder. We will ask her to control herself when tested."
Ow.
Many eyes turned toward him. "What do you mean?" "She truly is as dangerous as they say." The speaker said, "Let's see how well she can hold back when pushed." A message was sent. To the human ship. It was simple. "We invite Miss Alina Hawthorne to participate in a test of control. No real combat. Just a demonstration of her response under pressure." The pilot read it aloud, then looked at Alina. "What do you think?" "They want to poke the bear again," she said. "Should we decline?" Alina shook her head. "No, they need to understand. They won't learn through words." The arena was prepared differently this time. There would be no weapons, no physical attacks. Instead, the test would involve advanced simulation pods machines that placed subjects into realistic situations and watched their reactions. 5 respected aliens had agreed to participate. They would be placed in the same simulation as Alina. System would create pressure, fear, even moments of danger. Their reactions would be recorded. The point was simple. Who panics? Who attacks? Who stays calm? Alina stood before the simulation pod, expression steady. She stepped in without hesitation, her eyes closed. The pod activated. Inside the simulation, she found herself standing in a burning building. Fire roared from the walls. Voices screamed in the distance. Figures ran past Hersom in panic. Some fighting next to her stood the other 5 participants, already reacting. One tried to kick down a door. Another screamed for help. A third one drew a weapon and started shooting shadows. Alina didn't move. She studied the room. The floor was unstable. Smoke filled the air. One of the alien participants began to hyperventilate, falling to the ground. Alina walked over, knelt down, and gave him a calm order. "Breathe slowly. Follow my voice." "It is." Then she stood and pointed to a weak section of the wall. "Exits behind there. Use the pipe to break it open." No shouting, no panic. Only quiet steps, clear thinking. In the next moment, an explosion shook the room. The simulation grew worse. Alien civilians appeared, trapped under debris. 2 participants froze. One ran the wrong way. Alina moved fast. She lifted beams, cleared paths, and carried a crying child on her back through the flames. Her face never changed. Her voice remained soft. The system tried to increase the difficulty gunfire outside, collapsing floors. Thick smoke, but it didn't matter. She adapted. She guided. She survived. Outside the simulation, Council watched her data. Her heart rate is steady, someone said. Even during the collapse moment, she remained in control. The HFY speaker narrowed his eyes. She's protecting everyone else, even in a fake world. The Zarnik warrior folded his arms. Yes, but that's just a simulation. What about a real emotional push? They added a final test without warning. Inside the simulation, a child appeared wearing Earth's colors, crying for help. The moment was designed to trigger Elena's emotions. The system thought it could finally push her into panic, but she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She ran straight into the flames, lifted the child, and shielded them with her coat. Her skin burned in the illusion. Her legs trembled. She got the child out and returned for the others. When the simulation ended, she stepped out of the pod calmly. The others looked shaken, sweating, barely standing. One even fell to his knees, needing help. Elena helped him up before anyone else moved. Breathe, she told him again. You're safe. Later, the council gathered to review the test. The machine analysis was clear. Elena had kept the highest level of control. She responded faster, took fewer risks, and protected more simulated lives than anyone else. She never lost control. The Silvax healer Nira said quietly. Not once. Even when we tried to provoke her emotions, the Zalari scholar Tolan added, she stayed focused. Then what do we call her? A council member asked. She's not just a warrior. She's not just a leader. HFY speaker looked out the window at the stars. She is the thing we feared most, but now understand best. In a private corner of the station, Elena sat quietly sipping water. Alan walked up with his datapad. They're changing their minds about you, are they? She asked. He nodded. They thought Apex Predator meant destroyer. But now they see it means control. Elena gave a tired smile. Good. Maybe they'll stop asking for more tests. They won't, he said, but you've already passed the hardest one. She looked at him. Which one? Being feared and still choosing to be kind. Across the galaxy, the story of Earth's apex predator spread. But it didn't speak of teeth or claws. It told of a quiet woman who stood still while the galaxy lost its mind, who faced chaos, fire, and fear, and never once raised her voice. Just her hand. And when she did, even flames seemed to stop for her. Just as the council began to accept Elena's calm power, a sudden message changed everything. A distant star system sent a warning. An extremist alien fleet was moving fast toward the council's station. Their goal was clear: destroy the council and take control of the galaxy's decisions. Panic spread quickly. Ships scrambled, alarms blared, and the council called for emergency meetings. Elena stood quietly among the leaders. She said little, but watched carefully. Many council members looked to her, hoping Earth's apex predator might have a solution. The Zarnik warrior growled. We must send all forces to stop them. Our ships are not ready, the HFY speaker replied. We need help. Of the younger council members whispered, perhaps it is time to ask Earth for assistance. Eyes turned toward Elena. She stepped forward. Earth does not want war, she said softly. But if you need our force, I will lead it. Some council members looked shocked. A few nodded. You would lead the defense? I would, Elena said. But we fight only to protect. We do not attack first. The council agreed. A new image appeared in the chamber. Earth's hidden fleet. It was small but powerful. Ships unknown to many aliens, equipped with strange weapons and advanced shields. Weapons that could strike far and fast. These are Earth's true defenses, Elena said quietly. We keep them hidden because we do not want war, but we are ready. The extremist fleet arrived quickly, firing on the council's outposts. The council's ships tried to respond, but many were caught unprepared. One outpost fell in minutes, Then Elena's fleet appeared, with precise movements. Earth's ships intercepted the attackers. They moved with speed and control, not chaos. Strange weapons disabled enemy engines and communications without destruction. Elena's voice came over the fleet radio. "We're here to protect peace. Any attack on us will be met with equal force." The extremists tried to attack again, but they were met with overwhelming defense. Earth's ships used new tactics: defense drones that moved like shadows, shields that absorbed blasts, and weapons that disabled without killing. In hours, the extremist fleet was forced to retreat, broken and confused. The Council breathed a collective sigh of relief. Earth's force had saved them. After the battle, the Council met once again. This time, respect filled the room. The Zarnik warrior stood and said, "Miss Hawthorne, you have our thanks. Your calm and control saved us." Elena nodded. "We do. Not seek war, but when it finds us, we fight smart, not loud." The Faya speaker added, "Earth's apex predator is not a monster. She is a guardian, and that is why the galaxy must listen." Later, as the council quieted, Elena returned to her ship. The pilot asked, "Do you think they will understand now?" "Some will," she said. "Others will always fear what they do not know. But you showed them the truth. I showed them a part of it." As stars moved outside the station, a new respect grew. The galaxy learned that Earth's real predator was not wild or angry. She was calm, focused, and always ready to protect those she cared about. And when she raised her hand, their blood froze not from fear of violence, but from respect for the strength she quietly carried. After the fierce battle and Earth's unexpected help, the Galactic Council's atmosphere changed. Where once doubt and fear had filled the chambers, now there was respect and quiet admiration. The leaders gathered once more in the Grand Hall, but this time the mood was very different. Elena sat quietly in the corner, her posture calm and steady. She had done what she came to do. She had shown the galaxy what humans truly weren't: wild beasts, but careful, strong protectors. She had faced their doubts and their fears, and had won their respect without violence. The Faya speaker stood slowly. His voice was soft but full of honor. "Miss Elena Hawthorne, you came to us as an unknown warrior. You leave as one of the greatest protectors the galaxy has ever known." The room filled with nods and murmurs of agreement. The Zarnik warrior, once loud and full of anger, bowed his head deeply. "Your strength is unlike any I have seen, not in your muscles nor your weapons, but in your control and your calm. You have taught us a lesson that will never be forgotten." Young council member from the Zalari species stepped forward. "What does Earth want in return for their great help? What is their price?" Elena smiled gently. "Peace." Speaker's voice held surprise. "Peace, is that all?" "Peace and understanding," Elena answered. "Earth wishes to live without fear of war, to learn from others, and to share knowledge and strength. We do not seek to conquer, but to protect." The room fell silent. Many had expected demands for power or control, but instead, they heard hope and humility. After the meeting, council members came to Elena one by one. Some shook her hand. Others bowed respectfully. The respect was clear in their eyes. Her pilot, who had traveled with her, smiled softly. "You changed how they see humans." Elena looked out the window at the stars. "I only showed them who we really are." Later, alone on the ship's deck, Elena stood watching the galaxy. She felt a deep calm inside. The galaxy had seen the truth of Earth and its people. Now, perhaps humans would be seen not as weak or wild, but as strong and wise. Her comes buzzed softly. A message came from the Faya speaker himself. "Miss Hawthorne, the Council invites you to be a permanent envoy, a bridge between Earth and the galaxy." Elena smiled, her eyes bright. "I accept. For peace." From that day on, no one dared to challenge Earth without thinking twice. They remembered the quiet woman who raised her hand and made the entire galaxy freeze not from fear of violence, but from respect for the strength she quietly carried. The story of Earth's apex predator became a legend. Not a story of fear or anger, but of calm power, respect, and hope. In the years that followed, Alina worked as a bridge between humans and many alien species. She helped solve disputes, brought peace where there was conflict, and showed the galaxy that humans were not monsters, but protectors of peace. Her quiet strength inspired many. Young soldiers from all corners of the galaxy studied her calm moves, her careful decisions, and her brave heart. One evening, she looked out at a new star. Rising, Alina thought about how far humans had come. Once misunderstood, once underestimated, they had now earned their place in the galaxy not by loud words or violent wars, but by quiet courage and strong hearts, and she knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had learned that the true apex predator was not the loudest or the strongest in battle. It was the one who controlled their power, who chose peace, but never backed down when danger came. And Alina Hawthorne was that predator.